All right, welcome back to Politically Homeless. My name is Dave. Breaking news at this hour as Governor Ron DeSantis has suspended his presidential campaign, which means he's done. He's out. If you're going to vote for DeSantis, he's not really going to be campaigning any longer. New Hampshire is coming up this week as far as a primary, and it's between Trump and Nikki Haley. So there you have it. A couple of things I want to just say here. First of all, I'm not a young guy anymore. I wish I was, but I've seen a lot of presidential campaigns, and Donald Trump destroyed Ron DeSantis. Donald Trump destroyed his family, destroyed DeSantis, his reputation, basically played opposite day when he was talking about lockdowns, saying that Ron was one of the worst. He was worse than Cuomo and Newsom and all this stuff, which everybody is moving to Florida. Like this stuff, the evidence of what was being said was 180 degrees different from the reality of it, because I live in the state of Florida, number one. Number two, DeSantis was loved by Trump supporters. He was loved up until he announced he was running for president. And people were saying to me, it's not his turn yet. How disrespectful, how thoughtless of him, how egotistical of him. Look, some people will come back and say, well, DeSantis just didn't connect with voters. He wasn't charismatic. And I say, well, he's really gotten the job done here in the state of Florida. And as far as being a conservative governor, depending on what the Republican Party is these days, I'm not sure what it really is right now. But if you're looking for a conservative and you're a Republican, DeSantis was that guy. Trump, here's the thing about Donald Trump. I'm just tired of hearing about Donald Trump. I'm tired of the court cases. I'm tired of the Truth Social stuff. I'm tired of all of the grifters who are out there, mostly on Rumble. By the way, my other channel, I suspended my Rumble channel, much like DeSantis suspended his campaign, because nobody was watching over there because I wasn't grifting for Donald Trump. If I started saying how Trump is our only hope and Donald Trump is the Messiah and Jesus is my savior and Trump is my president and all that garbage, I'm sure I'd get like 1 million subscribers, right? Or at least I'd be moving in the right direction. But what I saw here, which again happened in 2016 to Ted Cruz to a lesser extent. Look, Cruz, kind of the lawyer, slimy lawyer type. His wife was in bed at Goldman Sachs and all that stuff, or with Goldman Sachs. I don't mean she was, well, maybe she was. I don't know. I'm not saying anything about Ted Cruz's wife. Cruz, kind of a fake guy when you listen to him speak. But you know what? Pretty smart on the Constitution. He got destroyed by Trump in 2016, and now Cruz is out there endorsing Trump. And a lot of these guys came forward and said, yeah, we're just going to go with Trump, whereas guys like Thomas Massie and Chip Roy, both of those congressmen, if you're a conservative, you like those people. Those people represent the best of what that is, okay? And they weren't all that happy about Trump being the nominee. But now it's basically a done deal. Unless Nikki Haley, does really well in New Hampshire, pretty much everything is over. I'm sure Haley is happy. She'll probably get a few DeSantis supporters, but DeSantis, surprisingly, just endorsed Donald Trump for president. Not really surprising, because he aligns more with Trump, but man, they're two different characters. They're two very different characters. DeSantis took the pledge, said, yeah, at least he took the pledge and said he would support the eventual nominee. And so he's getting behind Trump. And so I'm not sure that's going to help Trump as much as some people might think. I can tell you because I followed a lot of the DeSantis stuff on Twitter and in different places. And the DeSantis people, they do not like Donald Trump. They look at DeSantis as being, honest and decent and humble and nothing like Donald Trump. And this is why DeSantis didn't win, quite honestly, is because he didn't have this, sort of smash and grab style political approach. He was more, hey, we're going to go grassroots and we're going to campaign locally and we're going to do things the old fashioned way. We're going to do retail politics. Whereas Trump is still doing rallies, Trump is making appearances. And apparently, according to Ron DeSantis, the voters like that better. He basically said this in his, concession or his suspension speech that, the voters, and apparently they do. I mean, a 30-point lopsided win in Iowa, even though Trump barely broke 50%. I mean, you can take away some things from Iowa and say, Trump won. However, 49% of the people voted for somebody else. I mean, you could look at it that way. And I think that's going to be the case in New Hampshire. I don't think Trump gets over 50% in New Hampshire, although he might. If it's just him and Haley, he might achieve that. I don't know. If Haley is going to pull off an upset, it will be in New Hampshire. There are a lot of people who don't like Nikki Haley for various reasons. And DeSantis kind of dumped on Haley as he got out of the race, saying we don't need a corporatist. We don't need Washington insiders or, the typical Republican country club candidates. And that is certainly a shot at Nikki Haley. And there are some people, though, who will vote for anybody but Trump. And I don't know if there are enough of those people within the Republican primary. Here's what I do know, though, and here's what I do believe, that there are enough people in a general election that will go, say, to Kennedy or go to No Labels or go, I hate to say it, some of them will go back to Biden, which is a disaster for this country because, again, the status quo on steroids is what we have now. And the country's not going to heal. It's not going to get better. The divide here is only going to exacerbate, I don't want to say violence, but certainly a new level of acrimony, hatred, toxicity. And I would like this to not be the case. Hence, this is why I kind of favor a no labels approach. And if it's not no labels, for some reason that doesn't work out, then it's probably RFK Jr. And I worry about him because of his beliefs on certain things. He is disqualified from media attention because, again, he's going to call things out that no one else is going to talk about, especially Donald Trump, who is the, father of those safe and effective products and also chief leader, number one head honcho of Operation Warp Speed. And this is where we're at. So something like this happens and I become more politically homeless. So Ron DeSantis goes nowhere. Everybody rejects him. The Trump smear campaign, very effective at taking out Ron DeSantis. And what they're going to do, obviously, is they're going to ramp that up for Biden or whoever the nominee might be. There are a lot of people that believe that during the convention, Biden is going to step away and they're going to just nominate someone else. That is certainly a possibility, but they just may ride this old horse right to victory again in 2024. And if Trump loses, everyone's going to come out of the woodwork again and say it's fraud. And where do we go from there? Is it a civil war? I don't know, but our politics are not really going well these days. Our best selves, our better angels, as Lincoln would say, those are not being represented at all, and we basically look to hate our enemies instead of trying to figure out a compromise or a way to move forward. We just, this is smash mouth politics. That's what this is. And Trump is succeeding at it. And some people are going to be terrified of that. There are people who aren't in the Trump world who are absolutely terrified that Trump may become the president again. Now, what about all these legal challenges? Is Trump going to win them all? If he wins them all, that's going to be a miracle in and of itself. But then, once he gets over that hurdle, if he somehow manages to do that, he's got to win over people who he didn't win over in 2020. And one final thought on this: what has changed? If Trump is saying there was fraud in 2020 and that it was stolen and so forth, what about 2024 is different? Like, why is it going to work this time and it didn't work in 2020? And I think that's an honest question. So it looks like a rematch. Looks like a rematch between Trump and Biden. And so, again, we really need another way. And that's why I've been so interested in no labels. I'm still interested in RFK Jr. Because what I worry about on the whole no labels thing, even though I'm definitely in right now with it, is the authoritarian stuff. A lot of these more moderate and central people, the governors of different states, and a lot of them circulate inside the whole no labels movement. A lot of them were horrible during the lockdowns, horrible. They trusted the government in ways that I think were really damaging. And still, in some ways, we haven't recovered completely. And people are still walking around as if it's still happening every single year now during these months where you've got both the flu and whatever else they want to call what's out there. You've got these things out there, and these public health officials are still out there scaring people. And so it's 2024, and let's hope nothing else comes down the road to scare everybody. And let's hope that the tension that I think is out there doesn't get worse. And hopefully we won't see violence and we won't see chaos. But you've got one faction that doesn't want to let go of power, and you've got another faction that just believes they deserve the power, and they're going to set up some kind of a dictatorship. I don't know. It doesn't sound like America to me anymore. Whether I agree with some of the ideas, which I might, I don't think that's the way to convince people to get on your side. But again, didn't work for Ron DeSantis. So maybe this is the way forward from now on, where it's political theater, it's political terrorism, it's smash and burn, it's scorched earth, smash mouth, and that's where we are now. That's American politics. And you know what? For me in my house, we're going to follow a different leader this year, a leader that you can trust, and his name is Jesus Christ. And let the chips fall where they may. I'm not invested in this presidential race like in years past. I want something better for our country, but at what cost to our future, to our kids, our grandkids? I don't want revenge or retribution. What I want is fix the problems and stop talking about the past, fix the problems, and do it in a way where you can bring people together, not destroy what's left of the country. So that's my little video. The big news, though, again, is Ron DeSantis drops out. And so it's essentially a two-person race between Haley and Trump. And betting on Trump right now is a pretty good bet. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.